person, so I decided to write a song.
Listeners, football fans, Make a Way community, welcome to the newest episode of the Make a Way podcast. My name is Shaq, and I'm here with one of the more electric football players that I've seen come through the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. I'm very humbled and very excited to welcome Qashah Carter from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. How you doing, good brother?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you bringing me up on this podcast on your platform. And, happy to share my story with you.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about his journey. We're going to talk about where he started. We're going to talk about where he played the bulk of his football. We're going to talk about what he's doing now. He has a wealth of knowledge to spread to you guys, a lot of information that he gained over the course of the years. He learned from a lot of different coaches, and he played in a very, very esteemed program. So we're going to get right into it, man. Tell me, where are you from?
Okay, I'm originally from North Philadelphia, down 25th and C.C.B. Moore, Stillman Street. Played Little League down there as far as I can remember since I was a young boy. Watch.
Who'd you play for first?
North Philly Blackhawks. Yeah, come on now.
As soon as you said C.C.B. Moore,
yeah. North Philly Blackhawks. I've been playing there since I was 7 years old. Had a lot of amazing years. Our team was incredible. All the stars you can name it. Talik Rayner, Craig Jones, Amir Brown, Andre Mitz. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we had a couple runs for the national title in Florida. We brought back one. Mm-hmm. And I was just, it was a hell of an experience growing up from that small neighborhood that I'm from. It was very competitive. And I think that's what molded me into the player I was or still am today. So.
Okay. In regards to guidance coming up, did you have anybody around you that really was pushing you in the right direction? An older brother, a father, or uncle? Was there anybody that really was the reason why you were continuously going throughout? Because you could have stopped at any points, man.
Right. Well, so first, I grew up in a single parent household. Mm-hmm. So my mom was all I got. You know what I'm saying? She was mom and dad at home. So I think by me just growing up looking at her carry the load on her own, I always wanted to, take care of the family, you know what I'm saying, be in a position where I could do so. And I always had a natural ability, for sports. And I just grew into the love for football for some reason. But, not only that, I was good in track. I played lacrosse, I was good in basketball. But football just stuck out a little bit more. That's what my passion was. So I was just, as a young age, I was just I think this is what I'm going to do to, make it out.
Yeah, no, I'm not the same, man. And the beautiful thing about football, especially in Philadelphia, when we was coming up, football, to the outside eye, was the secondary sport. Everybody thought that you had to be a hooper to make it out of Philadelphia. You growing up, and it's the Deion Waiters and all of those players. We didn't really know a lot of players from Philly that was in the NFL when we was kids. So we was looking at football we playing it because we enjoy it. We playing it because we having fun. But it's not we had people that we was looking at all right, I want to be just like him. Because other cities the Florida, while we was kids anyway, the Floridas had the long list. Exactly, we had the old Philly, Marvin Harrisons and them, but they are dad ages.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So, the fact that we had to kind of look at the people our age, the people in if you was in the 105s, you had to look at the 160s players. They the reason why I gotta be like them. We didn't really have anybody that was on the biggest stage to look up to. So I feel Philly football community was really so tight because we only had each other. You feel me?
Exactly.
And I feel that was real important for us. But so you played for the North Philly Blackhawks. You moved on from them. Tell me about the journey to Simon Gratz. How'd you do it? How'd you do at Gratz? What did you play? I know you played with a lot of good players. A couple of my homies played there. Tell me about that.
So before even Simon Gratz, right? So I went to Franklin Learning Center down near Center City, and at first they didn't have their own football team, but they partnered with I believe South Philly High School. So I was I don't have any other school to play for as of right now because we're if I wanted to transfer, I would have to wait till next year because football season, of course, starts in the beginning of the season. I didn't go to training camp or anything, so I decided to I was interested. They had, I don't know how, but they had tryouts in September for students who went to FLC who didn't go to Southern.
Okay.
So I ended up going to a tryout, making a squad. I played a couple games. I played running back, safety. I was in the paper for taking an interception to the crib against Bartram, but that was
part of the game.
Yeah, that was it about that. But I knew I wasn't going to stay there. So I knew my cousin Eli, he worked as a dean at Gratz. He was like, "Yeah, you should come over." I actually knew a lot of players there as well because some of them played for North Philly Blackhawks or either played against me when I was a young fella. So
Aztecs, Blackhawks,
exactly,
E9, one of the teams up there
for sure. So that next season I made the team. Of course, I was at first I was behind a lot of greats. You know what I'm saying?
And what year was that, by the way?
I would say about
just so I can get the timeline right.
2015, I believe. 2015.
Yeah. Okay.
And mind you, I had 2 years of eligibility because my freshman year in high school I still played 160s in Pop Warner. My sophomore year I played at Southern. So
11th grade you went to Gratz now.
Yes.
Okay.
So 11th grade started at Gratz. But when I got there, I was actually behind a few players like Vaughn, Luke.
I played in college with my boys.
Yeah, so I had to take a backseat role for my first year, playing with them, learning how to play my role. You know what I'm saying? So I could move on to my senior year. I think I learned a lot behind them. I learned how to stay humble. I'm saying wait my turn. A lot of key factors that you need to that you can use later on in life. You know what I'm saying? We ended up winning a public league championship. So I mean, that was a great year.
The thing is, like, a lot of people in football don't really understand because football is one of them sports because there's so many positions. Everybody thinks like, oh yeah, if you're not the man,
right,
like you suck, and there's no in between. Like you got to realize that sometimes like you got to be able to chop wood and carry water. We was talking about that a little bit before we came in.
Right,
like you coming into that program. This is a team where I believe like that was my senior year. So a lot of those guys that was in that room. That whole offensive line was committed to Division I programs. Luke was able to play college ball. Vaughn was able to play college ball. Like you looking at that program left to right, up and down. These are a lot of really good football players. You know what I mean? Some people would have took that as dang. Like I'm in 11th grade. I'm not the man yet. I'm not gonna be able to play in college. I might as well chalk it now. You could have quit. And you could have went back to the crib. You know. But you decided to look at those guys. Luke, shout out to Luke. Shout out to Vaughn. Learn from these guys and be able to move forward afterwards and be able to take the reins from them after they left.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's a very, very, very important trait that you had that actually carried into your college career that I'm very, very like amazed at because a lot of guys, especially at a young age, don't have that because it's such a prideful, masculine sport. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. I think I was comfortable with that position because even as when I played for the Blackhawks, I was still kind of like behind a few people who, were
good ball players, Tyleek Rainer, all
exactly. So it's like, okay, this is another situation where I can, take a step back, learn a few things, but when it's my time, it's my time. I'm gonna show everybody what I can do, and I knew I always had it in me. So I know at one point in time it was gonna come to existence.
You know what I mean? And I'm happy you did that, man, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't. You feel
exactly,
me?
Yeah.
So, you end up going off. Tell me about your senior year. Like, what was the most memorable football experience during your senior year? Was there any big plays, any big games?
What's crazy? I didn't really like have those moments like, oh, I remember this play, this game, this and the third. I just remember like I had to step into a different role that I wasn't really comfortable with at first because I never was in that position ever. So I was basically became the captain of the team. So I had to lead the members on to winning the championship. Before I was playing the backseat role and I had to learn from the people who were in front of me. Now I'm that the big guy that everybody had to
had to
learn from. So it's just like, yeah, I'm playing that role. So now I'm carrying that load on my back. So just so you know, every game Carter gonna give everything he got. You feel what I'm saying? Because we here and we not losing. You feel what I'm saying? That's the mindset I want my younger guys to have. Because if your younger guys go out and play like that for the older guys, and you already have that older guys with that mindset,
who's gonna stop us?
Exactly, unstoppable. So like that step into that role, that was an experience in itself. You feel what I'm saying? that year, I probably was the best year of football I ever had. I became the 5A MVP of the public league,
Mm-hmm.
made the All-Star team. You feel what I'm saying? I did things that I didn't even think I could do. You feel what I'm saying? And I over over succeeded like that role that I had, even though
But the thing
I
is,
didn't
like
expect it.
that started from the preparation, or that started from when you were sitting in that room full of running backs. Ever since Pop Warner, looking at it like everybody's like, "Dang man, when Q gonna get his chance to spin?" I
Right.
seen him in practice. I seen him at the field. He could do it. And you're like, "Listen, man, I'm just gonna sit here, chop wood, and carry water. And when it's
Right.
my turn, I'm gonna be ready to spin. I got something for y'all. It's just not my turn yet."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Some people block their blessings because they don't realize that it's not their time yet.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I believe I was watching Million Dollars for Game back in the day, and one of the episodes, Gil said, first he gonna stress you and then he gonna bless you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're gonna get to that point where you're pushing up against the wall and you feel like the wall isn't gonna push over.
Mm.
But if you just take that one extra push, you just take that one extra step, close your eyes and push, maybe yell a little bit louder, you feel me?
Right.
The whole thing gonna come tumbling down. And it's gonna be like all for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me? It's gonna feel like, oh my God, like all of that stress, like I was worried about nothing. Like when my opportunity came, I jumped at it.
Right.
And I feel like that's like something that people need to carry with them into their day-to-day life. You feel what I'm saying? So you get to college now, you're the 5A public league MVP, you play in a public league all-star game, you got all of the confidence in the world. And out of high school, tell me about the recruitment process. Where'd you end up going?
Okay. So the recruiting process was very slow for me because, mind you, like I said, I had 2 years of high school.
Mm-hmm.
My first year, I didn't really have no
Big splashes.
good tape. You feel what I'm saying? But my senior year, I had a lot of tape. So the recruiting schools came from probably from late March to mind you, that's
That's
signing
late.
day.
Yeah, that's late.
You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So I mean, I was blessed to have any recruits come to my classroom to be able to talk to me. But at the same time, I'm already in my head like, yeah, I'm walking on somewhere. I'm showing them what I can do. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But a few teams stepped out. ESU, Shippensburg, Bloomsburg. Basically a couple
PSAC,
teams at Eastern PSAC.
Mhm.
Delaware State came late, like very late. So I mean, I appreciated everyone who came out because no one
None was guaranteed.
came to me. So yeah.
None was guaranteed. You
Right.
feel me? So you get to Bloomsburg your freshman year.
Right.
I believe you redshirted, right? Tell me about the experience of playing on the scout team. Like, was it a humbling experience again? Because now you're back to that 11th grade year where you're kind of sitting behind players again. Like,
Mhm.
was there any specific players on the team that you learned a lot from, or was there any specific memories that you got from that team? Maybe like were you one of the guys that went really hard on scout? Like, tell me about that experience.
Okay, so mind you, when I got the Bloomsburg, you feel what I'm saying? It was just different. I just felt as though I was like in a position where I didn't know where I would fit in. I didn't know if I was playing running back, slot receiver, or anything. So I was just, I'm
Playing
thinking
football.
being the best football player I could be. But eventually, they said at first I would be playing receiver. I think I did pretty well in camp.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the playbook very fast, faster than most of the freshmen there. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to make the team
Mm-hmm.
at first. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like after you have a good camp and you don't make the team, you like, whoa, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's cool. I've been here before. Let me take this step back, regroup. I'm gonna be the best player on scout team as I can be to show them why I should be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So every day I came to practice with that mindset, like, listen, you know what you can do. Show them what you can do and why you should be on this field competing. Even though, we're on the same team, but
Yeah, no.
show them I can compete with the best on this squad and not even on the squad in the PSAT.
conference.
Exactly. So,
No, man, that's important, man, because I take it back to my scout team year, man. Like, that offensive line was huge, man. Those are some of the best. Like, coming from playing in the pub, I didn't really see an offensive line that was that big and that well coached.
Right.
So I'm going into it, and every single practice was a dogfight. The head coach and the offensive coordinator was both former offensive linemen, and the offensive coordinator played for the head coach. So the mentality of the offensive line at Lock Haven was like, you're gonna strain, you're gonna go hard, you're gonna grind every single play. You're gonna play 3 seconds after the whistle. Like the scout team should not be able to breathe. Like you should be able to rain all over them. And like me as a scout team player, I took that as an insult. Like I took that as like I'm not putting on my boots every day to get mauled. You feel me?
Exactly.
So the mentality of coming in the scout team, like I have to come here and win every rep, is critical. Because if not, like the coach is just gonna brush you over and out recruit you again because they're like, we don't need him. Like he didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't do nothing.
Show that dog mentality every time you step on the field.
You know what I mean?
That's how it should be.
Exactly. So moving forward, you know what I mean? Bloomsburg didn't work out for one reason or the next. You ended up transferring. Tell me about what drew you to IUP and how you ended up there.
Okay. IUP was like on an academic standpoint. IUP was my number one school on my list, only because I knew a couple football players there, and I knew I could walk on there and play behind them. Walt Pegues was a big guy that I looked up to. We ran track on together as a youngster. What age was that? Probably around 12, 13. Coach Walt and everybody coached us. So I'm looking up to him. He breaking city records.
He was a beast, man.
College records. You know, I knew Don McNeil played for Martin Luther King. Talked to them as I was transferring, and it was like, yeah, we have a opportunity for you here. We have a couple years left, but after us, it's just like, you know. So I was like,
anything goes.
Listen, I'm there, and once I get there, I can, you know, follow y'all footsteps.
So you get there now. Tell me about that first camp. I know it was a lot different. It was IUP, especially. That was what, like 2019 fall now. Like that was one of the.
That was 2018.
That was 2018 fall.
Yeah, I transferred in the spring, 2018 spring. So right after my first semester at Bloomsburg, I transferred right into IUP in the spring.
Tell me the difference of competition, because that was when IUP, like, it was one of the deeper IUP rosters.
So yeah, they was just coming off a PSAC championship.
That was when Coach Tort first took over, I believe.
Yeah, semi-finalists, you know. So like, it was the bar was set high, you know.
High level competition.
Yes.
A lot of guys unsatisfied.
Exactly. So even before that, my walk-on date, I emailed the coaches, you know, I don't know, numerous amount of times. Shout out to Coach Leonard, Anthony Leonard, was the only guy who came back to me and gave me a response for the walk-on date. I was like, okay. So once I got the walk-on date, listen, I worked out twice a day. Like, made sure I was in the best shape of my life to even, you feel what I'm saying, sometimes 3 times a day, because I was not being denied to get on this football team. I knew exactly what I could bring to the table, and as long as I had a platform where I could show that, I was cool. The walk-on date, it was probably 80 of us. 80 of us that was out there on a dark, cold night. I mean, listen, they put us through Metro, like 12 different stations, you know, trying to see who really got that dog mentality, because, you know, the pups going to quit early.
Yeah.
They're going to quit early. But
it's going to be fast.
Yes. So I'm just breezing through the mat drills like it was nothing, like it was, you know, a warm up, to be honest. Coach Torrey, he was just like, who is this guy? Like, he kept asking me, where are you from? This and the third. You play ball before? I'm like, yeah. So, but out of all 80 of us who tried out, it was only 3 of us that made the team.
Damn.
So yeah, so that was a big accomplishment for me, just walking on, you feel what I'm saying, and them having faith in me.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Coach Tort, man.
Shout out to Coach Tort, man, my man Paulie T. But yeah.
So before we even get into the football experience, man, like, I did a little bit of digging myself, because like sometimes I look into the program as a whole, sometimes I just look into the coach. I've heard a lot of stories about Coach Tort. You know, I had a good friend that played there, my friend Terry, shout out to Terry, and he's always telling me, yeah, no, Coach Tort, man, he's so serious. He's so good at what he does, man. He loves football. He loves being around us. And when I'm looking into it, I start to do my research on him. I'm like, dang, he was on the staff at that school for 20 years before he even became the head coach.
Yeah.
And he became the head coach after they won that championship. So he's coming into this program like probably the most trusted person in that football building after that head coach left.
Right.
Like, what did it feel like to play for a coach like that? Like, did he that believed in you early? That at the tryout, he was already looking at you like this guy could play ball. That you already felt like a sense of trust behind him.
To be honest, I didn't even look at it like that just yet. You know, because I'm still in a position where I'm still trying to earn like a spot on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it as, okay, I made it. I made it on a team with this championship culture.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, he knows what it takes to win championships. I come from teams with that championship culture mentality. So, you know, like I said before, I'm going to play my role. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to play my role and see where I can fit in whatever I can do, no matter if it's special teams, offense, or just to get on the field, just to, you know, get my feet wet. And it was a great experience, bro. I'll tell you that. It was one hell of a journey. I ended up even doing more than I thought I would get to. Not even just on offense, but special teams. You feel what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually did a little bit of digging on that, man. Like, how does it feel to be like, if not the best, one of the most prolific returners to ever come through IUP? Like, because it's a role that a lot of people don't really like think much of. Like,
Right.
when you come into football, you're like, oh, you know, we're gonna get the kick return, we're gonna take a fair catch, or you're just gonna return it back to the 20 and get tackled.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mindset when you was going into a kick return?
So the speech was, the first play of the drive is kick return, and field advantage.
It's everything.
Come on now. Like, it's a big difference if you start at the 45 than the 20. My aim is, listen, as long as we get good field advantage, our offense is 85% going to score. So my goal was to get to at least to the 50 every time I touch the football.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, every time I touched the football, I was at the 50 or, you know, close to it.
Yeah,
So,
no, man, that's important, man.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't really, because some guys get told, like, yeah, you know, like, maybe you're going to come in freshman year, play a little bit of special teams at most, and then whatever happens, happens. A lot of guys take that as, like, an insult. They're like, listen, man, like, I'm here to play running back. Like,
Right.
I don't really care for none of that. Like, what's the difference between a guy that's willing to look at the opportunity that's available and take advantage of it and be the best at that versus the guys who, like, have so fixed mindset and what they want to do?
They're going to, like, slowly drift away from the team if they're not willing to put their individual feelings first rather than the team feelings. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So IUP was all about all in.
Mm-hmm.
Do your job. When everybody's all in and everybody's doing their own individual job, the end goal
Happens.
will be successful. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like the individual accolades and everything will come. But when everything comes together and moves together perfectly, come on now.
It happens.
We're talking about a winning football team right there.
One of the winningest programs in the conference too. Like, it's
Right.
not, like, I wasn't just winning, y'all was winning a lot.
If we lost 2 games, not even one, if we lose 1 game, that's a disappointment. I'm sorry. Like, if we did not want to lose at all. I mean, it happened, but the standard was we do not lose here at IUP.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out there with that mindset, yo, we're doing whatever we can do to get this W.
Man.
That's that championship culture that was instilled in us, and like, good thing for me, it was instilled in me at a young age.
At a young age.
Yeah.
How does it feel though? Like, you, like, technically, man, you looking back at it, you was a winner all your life, man. You went from Blackhawks, you was going to Florida every year. You go to the Gratz, you guys in the pub championship every year. You go to IUP eventually. Like, you guys are 8, 9, 10 wins every single year. Like,
Right.
like, do you feel like, obviously, like, from the outside in looking at it, you're like, dang, like, this guy kind of had it really sweet, but obviously, like, once you take this deeper dive, you actually faced a little bit of adversity. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting that some people don't really realize that, like, from the outside, I'm taking pictures with the trophies and all of that stuff, but in between, I had to work for every single piece of food I got on my plate.
In every stage of my life, it definitely was some difficulties. We didn't, like you said, in every stage, we didn't just win. We had to have them down years to get to those years where we were successful. We just got the PSAC championship last year in 2022. You feel what I'm saying? It was those building years. We had to build and get everybody on the same page and, you know, build that chemistry that not many teams have. You know, in the PSAC, it's a big difference between, no disrespect, it's a big difference between IUP or Cheney and stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just that standard is just different. You feel me? And that's where I always wanted to be at. I always wanted to be a part of a team with that championship culture, that championship mindset where everybody wants to win and refuses to have that L.
Yeah, bro. And I think like that mentality carries through life too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you're going into the workplace and you're not going there with the intention of just being a regular Joe in the workplace and just collecting your paycheck and going home.
Right.
You want to be the best at what you do. You want to move forward in your career. You want to develop as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, don't take it as arrogance. Like, oh yeah, like we're just no. You're taking it as like we got the results we got because of the work we put in.
Exactly.
One of my best friends, Gary, shout out to G, he sent me a phrase one day because, like, I'll say around New Year's coming into this year, I was going through a little bit of a rust patch. I was trying to figure out who I was, what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But he gave me this little gem, and he told me, stop chasing results. Start chasing consistency, and the results are going to come.
Right.
So once I started doing that, everything else started making sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was sitting in the house. I was working from home, so I was gaining a lot of weight. Like I think I gained like 65 pounds in a year. Like, and I was weighing more than I ever weighed playing college offensive line, bro.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was like very uncomfortable. I was unhappy with myself. I had a gym membership and I wasn't in the gym for 2 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
Banged out my car twice. Like it was bad, bro.
It's a situation.
It's life, bro. It
Yeah.
happens, bro. What happened? I told myself, I'm gonna chase consistency.
Right.
What's the first thing I got to do? Fix my car.
Mm-hmm.
Car got fixed. All right, what's the next thing? I had a little bit of credit card debt. Start paying off the smallest cards one by one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bet I got to get in the gym. Got to get back in shape, bro. When I couldn't rep 225 no more when I got back in the gym, bro.
Right.
But it took myself. I got to get back to 225.
Some way, somehow.
You know what I
That's
mean?
I'm saying, yeah.
And just by building them blocks, I was able to get back to, slowly get back to where I want to be and who I want to be. You feel me?
Yeah.
And people don't see that. All they see is the end result. He got a good job.
Mm-hmm.
He doing all right for himself. But if you didn't see me at my lowest, you're not going to understand that, like, it took days of doing the same thing over and over and not seeing no difference before I got there.
I like that, man. Listen, man. Like you said, they didn't see the work you put in from day one to where you came to now. So it was days where I'm like, I'm on the track 5:30 a.m., 11 p.m. at night. Like in the weight room, just, you know what I'm saying, literal tears in my eyes. Nobody saw the work that I put in, the extra work, the late nights, early mornings, oh snap, I gotta leave work, go work out, and then go back to work. You feel what I'm saying? Nobody saw that work behind closed doors, off the scene, behind the coaches' faces. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you think about it, you do deserve that pat on the back when you look back at it. You feel what I'm saying? Like in the moment, yeah, we gotta chase that consistency, that consistent grind, because that consistent grind is going to get or take you where you need to go, that end goal, that end result that you're chasing. Don't have that on your mind. Just keep your head down and keep grinding. It's going to take you far in life.
It's going to take you way farther, because by the time you look up, you're 50 yards past where you thought you was going to be.
Exactly.
And that's something that people really need to carry with them through life. So you make it to this season, you guys are walking through the PSAC, winning a lot of football games. The guys finished like 10-2, 10-1 before the national playoffs. So a very good season, you know what I mean? And you get to the PSAC championship, and I'm reading the articles coming into the game because my homies in them were playing. So I'm doing my research, and I'm like, dang, like everybody's counting you guys out to win this championship. Like, obviously shout out to Shepard. It's a very good Shepard team.
Yes,
got the Harlan Hill quarterback at the helm at the time. Like, what was your guys' mindset coming into that game? Like, did you guys deviate from anything that you did all year? Or, like, what was the mindset coming into that week?
Quick run back.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2019, first game of the playoffs, the last drive, we're up 27-24. The last drive of the game, 30 seconds. Probably the last minute of the game. They drive down the field.
Oh, the Hail Mary guys.
Scored. No, they drive all the way down the field and score in the last 3 seconds of the game to beat us. That carried on. Like, we were sophomore. That was our sophomore year. Us as sophomores, we wanted our get back. We needed that get back, bro. So, you know what I'm saying?
And y'all felt that in y'all chest for them couple years.
We felt that. And even the young guys that weren't even there, listen, we made sure they felt that, because I know our goal was national champions. But to get to that step, we knew we had to beat this team to get there. Some way, somewhere down the line, we were gonna have to face them. So
I mean, but that was just God making it come full circle. You know what I mean?
exactly.
You took that heartbreaking L to them a couple years ago. You young, whether how big or how small your role is, that pain don't change. I tell people like whether you a bench warmer, whether you're the superstar on that team, if you're invested, if you really love your team and involved in your team's culture, a loss hurts the same every time.
For sure.
You feel what I'm saying? So you go into that game and you're like, damn, we got this in the bag. Defense, come on, we just need to stop, whatever. But at the end of the day, football players make plays. They won the game. The better team won that day, whatever have you, however people want to look at it. But you're going to think about that every time you in the gym.
Yeah.
Every time you work and you're like, dang, like, we was one play away. And you got to remind those young guys when they're coming up, like, yo, listen, don't take nothing for granted. Don't take any lift for granted because we was one play away.
All right. Literally one play.
We was one play, one stop, one batted ball, one drop catch, whatever you want to call it. We was one play
boom
away.
Coverage. Yeah.
One play away.
Yeah.
So I'll be damned if I let you make me be one play away. So like we're in the weight room. I need you to work. Like you can't take that last rep off because if you do, that's gonna cost us in that championship. If you're the scout team guy and you're supposed to run down on kickoff to give Q his look so he can know when to hit the cut, whatever have you, and we're doing the live reps on Tuesday, scout team guy, I need you to hustle down the field because if not, I'm not going to get the look I need. Right. And that might cost me if I need a game-winning kick return, right?
Here's another thing, right? A big, oh my gosh, a huge hurdle that I had to get over. So, my senior year, first game of the season, partially tear ligament on my ankle. I was out for a couple games. The doctor said 6 to 8 weeks. Me being me,
I can't.
This my senior year. I'm not missing no more than 2 games. You're tripping. You know, it's just like it's a different feeling. Like it's your senior year. You grinded all summer.
It's my last guaranteed year.
Just the sacrifices you put in just to get hurt. Long story short, I come back 4 games later. I played a game or 3. Hurt my ankle again. So I'm in a position where I didn't play much my senior year, but I played that step back role. It taught me a lot because I was able to build my younger guys to play in that big moment. You feel what I'm saying? I think it helped me as an individual because it humbled me. You know what I'm saying? It could be over just like that. No matter how much you think you prepare for this moment, you got to be prepared for everything, not just for the moment that you pictured in your head. So I'm grateful for the role that I played in my young guys' lives. Shout out to the young IUP crew. You know, they led the way through that game, and it came down to even Dwayne Brown, one of the leading receivers on the team. He got hurt, and he was out that game. So we're talking about 3 of our starters is on our starting offense is gone, and it's all young guys, and the way that we groomed them and the relationships and the chemistry that we got, we wanted to see each other win, carried throughout the team, not just our wide receiver crew and not just the young guys in our room, and carried through the team, and our want to win, to refuse to lose, carried us through that game.
And see, that's what you talk about with a championship culture.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize that it's not about how good the players at the top of the depth chart are.
Right.
It's about the relationships they have with the guys that are below them so that when their number gets called, there's no drop-off.
Exactly.
There's nothing like when you're going through a game and you see number 47 get in, and the level of competition and hard work don't change.
Don't change.
You know what I mean? He might not be as fast, he might not be as shifty, but he's going to run at your face just as hard because, like, that's the bestest standard.
All right.
A lot of guys don't understand that. Like, the guys that are at the bottom of the depth chart kind of, like, lag off into the darkness, or the guys at the top don't try to bring those younger guys along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm very big on, like, one of my coaches said, I forgot when. He's like, forget about me, I love you, family. Like, that's one of the things that a lot of football coaches say it, but not a lot of teams can walk that walk. You know what I mean? Like, looking at that other person in your room and saying, like, right now you're the most important person to me. my very first senior year, I had a young guy on our team. Shout out to Terrell. He was a defensive tackle that they moved over to offensive line. I was playing right tackle at the time, and it was the spring season for COVID. The PSAC didn't play that year in 2020, but we had a spring season. We had like 6 games. So I'm on my way out the door. He still got 4 more years left. But this kid is 6'6", 310. He's built like he's supposed to be at Ohio State.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean? So it's one of them things where like he hasn't moved backwards and played offensive line in 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really understand the footwork. He didn't understand the communications. But I took it upon myself. I'm like, bro, I might be like preparing my backup to take my job. Like,
right.
But at the end of the day, he looked at me. He looked up to me, even though he was more physically gifted. Because you can't coach that size, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm 6'3", like 260, 270 at the time.
It's God-given gift right
he's
there.
6'6", 310. What am I doing, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's my young guy. Like, he used to see me, like, what's up, big? Like, to this day, he a big bro me. Like, he's not way bigger than me, you feel me? But I just took it on the chin. I'm like, listen, man, like, whatever you need, I got you, bro.
Right.
And when he went in there, man, like I got hurt 1 week, or I think, like, that was when, like, they were COVID testing every day. I might have been out. He'll come to the sideline. He'll ask me questions. And I'm like, if you do good, that's my minutes. But at the end of the day, it's not about that.
Right.
It's about getting him better, getting the team better. And I took that upon myself, like, whatever comes from me is what comes from me. You know what I mean? And he ended up playing some pretty good ball after that. So I'm just thankful. I watched him play. I don't take no credit for his game, but I just be happy to see, like, that he's doing good, and I didn't have to hate on him to see him do good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like, I was in his boat, you know. I'm in practice talking to JoJo Gauls, Don McNeil, DeJuan Walsh, you know, all people that I learned from in their game and how to, you know, read coverages, what moves to make, you know. 'Cause at first I couldn't control how fast and shifty I was. So I had to, you know, work on my craft. I'm like, all right, listen, everything ain't speed, everything ain't 90 miles per hour. So, you know, I definitely shout out to them. They helped me become the man I am to help build the young guys that I did 4 years or 3 years later down the line. So, yeah, that was a great.
It was a great moment for you, man.
Like, not even just moment, because it's like, I'm just thinking back, like, still to this day, like, I see these guys in the indoor football league and stuff like that, and it's just like, yo, I learned from, like, pros. Like,
these guys could play ball, man. JoJo Gauls was a beast. All of them guys really could play ball.
Yeah.
I'm looking back, like, I remember, like, even Walt, like, you were talking about Walt when he first started. Shout out to Walt. I actually asked him for a lot of advice, you know, because he got a couple podcasts. I was actually working on trying to get him up here too. So he lives out of town now. So eventually I'm be able to get him down here and talk to him. But you know, I asked him for a lot of gems because he does his podcast audio. He does a lot of different things, and I'm real big. Shout out to Andre that was here a few weeks ago. You know, each one teach one.
Yeah.
Being able to take a little bit from everybody that you surround yourself with, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get to your own best potential.
All right.
Like, I got to be able to take a little bit from Q. I got to be able to take a little bit from Dre. I got to be able to take a little bit from Walt. Because if not, I'm not going to get the most out of what I'm doing to be able to benefit the people that I'm trying to benefit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I take that very personally. You know what I mean? The fact that you're looking at it like, I got to learn as much as I can from these guys while I got them. Mm-hmm. Because you could have looked at them like, man, like, this JoJo guy, like, yeah, he got good hands. Like, he good jump ball guy, but I feel like I run a better route than him. Like, I gotta pull coach to the side. Like, coach, like, let me show you this clip of me doing better than what he could do and get. No, I'm gonna just learn from him.
Right.
Because when my time come, he gonna look back and he gonna log in and he gonna see the film and he gonna be proud of me.
Not only that, we're teammates. You win, I win.
You win,
you
I
know
win.
what I'm saying?
If he's doing good, you're doing
exactly.
good. All in.
All in.
You know what I mean? That IUP culture, man, it took you to where you're at now, to pivot away from football now. Tell me what you do now currently.
Currently, I'm the operations coordinator of the Leah Core Center in Temple University. I basically help the building operate. I supervise crew members to help set up anything we need, whether it's Temple University basketball, athletic meetings, or any other meetings or conventions, concerts in the building. You know, just helping everything run smoothly. Mm-hmm.
Like, working in sport is a very, very, like, niche market to get into. You know, everybody's a sportsman in major, but nobody knows how to jump off the porch and actually get started. Like, like how did you find your passion for it? Like, did you work on campus in different facilities? Like, did you find anything you liked while you were at IUP that transferred over to Temple?
Yes. So as I played football in the springtime, I worked at the KCAC where I was an operations team member.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically set up the basketball court, make sure all the seats in the stands were put up, or pipe and drape for graduations and build stages for graduation and stuff like that. So it's just like me being around that is like I sat back and I could really make a career out of this. I enjoy being there or supporting the teams and what they actually need, because if we don't do that, they can't perform. You feel what I'm saying? So or audiences couldn't be there to actually watch anything. So I think I grew to love it a little bit. Shout out to Marianne, because she saw something in me. She was like, yeah, you're a good guy. You'll be good in this field. That was my general manager there at the KCAC, and the reason I'm here today is because of her. When I graduated, I actually got a bachelor's in exercise science.
Okay.
But like being in like the training room and stuff like that, I don't know, like my love for it slowly drifted away, and I was looking for a job around sports, and I'm like, I'm already in a job that is involved heavily around sports, so it's just like I could start here and build on from there. So shout out to Marianne. She communicated with, networked with some guys down at Temple, vouch for me, that, and that's a key part in that. Don't be afraid to build relationships and network. You gotta get out of that shell, like, cause I was always a shy guy, like I didn't really talk at all. If anybody knew me, if anybody sees this video, they could say like I always was quiet until like I really got to know you, and it took a lot for me to get out of my shell. So I had to do some growing up at IUP as well. So she had some networks here at Temple University, put a good reference in, and I'm currently in a supervisor position there. So,
and see, the cool thing about that though is like, you just tried to come in and genuinely just do your job. Like, you just tried to walk in every day, Marianne, see, hey, good morning, good evening, whatever, and you just tried to do what you had to do. You didn't see it as like, oh man, I have to impress her, or she's my boss, so I have to, go about. You just did what you felt was the right thing to do. You walked into work every day and did your job. Exactly. What was the theme today? Chop wood and carry water. You feel me? So, like, you came in and you did your job. You made sure the seats were set up, whatever have you, the athlete mentality, not being late, doing what you're supposed to do. It's nothing for her to reach out to her friend down at Temple and be like, listen, I got a student that worked for me for X amount of years, and he lives in the Temple area. Like, I think he could be a good use for you guys. Mm-hmm. They're going to take her word for it, because if she's been doing this for X amount of years, they know the type of people that she sends to them.
Right.
So it's nothing for her to make that phone call and tell them, like, this guy is going to be a great person for you guys. And then you get there, and it's not like you got to let them down, bro. You just got to do what you kept doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So just building relationships is one thing, but building relationships starts with just being consistent, just going into work every day and doing a good job, being consistent with your job. Carrying
everything you learned in football and everything you learned growing up in the neighborhood we're from. You feel what I'm saying? That plays a hell of a role in what we do in our careers today. And like you said, we have to separate ourselves from the rest. I think student athletes already have to separate themselves just to prove that they're, not pampered or anything that everybody else says, because we actually have to work 3 times harder.
Yeah, I'm about to say, a lot of people don't realize, like, my day starts at 6 a.m. and it ends at like 8 or 9. I got to fit them 3 classes in there. I got to fit in my 15 credits and still got to be able to memorize the playbook and go to lift, and I got to go to conditioning, and I got meetings and meetings and meetings. Coach needs you to stop by his office. You can watch quick film with him in between the meetings, quick installs and this and that.
6 a.m. workouts.
I mean, your classmates is rolling out of bed at 7:55, walking into class 5 minutes late, sitting in the back with their headphones on. You don't got that luxury. Your coach is peeping in through the window trying to see if you paying attention.
Sit in the front, all that type of good stuff. So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for success, whatever the coaches do to try to make sure you guys are staying cultured and working hard. Like, the other students don't have those type of stipulations on them. So, like, they'll look at it like, oh, he getting spoiled. Like, the teacher is treating them, giving them the grade.
Right.
No, I don't have a choice. My coach I got an academic meeting with my coach every Monday, and he making sure, like, I'm doing every single homework. So I earned this A, I earned this B.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? A lot of students don't understand that, like, that, yeah, my coaches, like, are there to support me, but all it is support. Like, it's not like they're doing my work for me. Like, they are telling me, like, listen, this is what you got to do, and it's our expectation. It's our standard that you get it done.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Shoot, I wish they was doing the work for me.
You know what I mean, bro? Because, like, I could have used a little break.
Right,
man.
right.
You know what I mean? Waking up at 5 a.m. every day and running up.
Man.
I could have used a little break.
Not mind you, we had to have every class before 1 o'clock. So not only we had morning workouts, you got all morning classes. See, you're not a morning person. You're finding your nature right there. You like, oh my gosh, dragging. You gotta get yourself together, get these notes and everything down, and then you gotta make them just efficient enough for you to study them with your, you know.
Find time to study.
Come on now.
You gotta find time to study.
That's a task.
I remember when I had accounting, man. I bring up my boy G a lot. That was like my right hand man. It was my roommate when I was in school, whatever have you. When we're going through our notes for this accounting test, I'm like, bro, we do not have the time, bro. How are we gonna get there? Like, how are we gonna get this test done, bro? Like, I'm not understanding nothing. We gotta find time out of a 2-hour window to find new ways to study. Because if not, like, we can't even register for the next semester of classes because this is the prereq for the other courses.
Right.
Coaches don't care. You still got practice at 6. You still got lift at 6 a.m. You still got meetings at 1. Like, you gotta find time to get the work done and learn the stuff. Go to tutoring, whatever you gotta do. But you still gotta be good on Saturdays when they call on you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So I always give it to my athletes, like, y'all don't get the credit y'all deserve for the hard work that you got to put in to be successful and still have to walk on the same stage at graduation as them other students. You know what I mean?
Right.
It takes a lot.
Right.
It takes a lot. So overall, tell me about your aspirations. Like, is there any, like, upward mobility at Temple? Is it like, do you want to maybe be like an athletic director one day? Like, is there anything that you're really, like, looking forward to one day?
Being as though I work in operations and I want to still be around the sport that I love, which is football, I'm actually trying to work my way up to a football operations manager. So, I'm going to get my experience here.
That'll be major, though.
Yes, sir. I'm going to actually have a, even though I like my job right now, I'm not discrediting that.
Yeah, 100%.
But I want a job where I'll want to wake up and it doesn't feel like a job, and I feel as though that's that job that I'm gonna speak into existence. That's the job I'm gonna have in the next 5 years.
Hey, man. Well, as long as you find your Mary in that Temple, as long as you building that relationship, putting in that hard work, eventually that person over in that office, because as much as you would think it's a big campus, it's a big university, it's a big athletics program, people talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, listen, man, this guy worked hard. Like, he does a great job. Every time we come to the events, it's crystal clear. Everything is done. It's organized. Everybody's in line. Tickets is never an issue. Seats is never an issue. Everybody is coming in, getting things done. Never any issues. That makes it across. So I just recommend you, you know what I mean, just stay consistent with whatever you're doing now, the hard work you're putting in. Try to be the best at the little things you do every day.
Right.
And I promise you it's coming.
So,
you know what I mean? A lot of people don't really realize that. They're like, if you just compound the little victories, the small victories on top of each other, like, you're gonna look back. You got to be 1-0. Come in the next week and be 1-0 again, like the coach just said. 1-0.
1-0.
1-0. 1-0. You're gonna look back. You're 10-0.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Now you're competing for a national championship, but your goal is just to be 1-0 every week. And I got to do that with my career. I got to look at work every week and be like, all right, I have to be 1-0 this week. Like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to check my email, I'm going to talk to my supervisors, whatever have you. I'm going to set my game plan for the week. I'm going to try to see the strengths and the weaknesses that I got. How can I improve upon last week's mistakes, whatever have you. And I'm going to build upon that.
Right.
And I'm going to slowly build on top of the little mistakes that I make every day, every week. Because nobody's perfect.
Right.
But if you just minimize the mistakes and you just try to build on the little things that you did wrong over the course of time, like, you're gonna look back, and the new people that's coming in is gonna look at you and they're gonna think you perfect. When in reality, it's just a combination of a bunch of mistakes being corrected.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Set a goal, knock it down. Set another goal, knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
One step at a time.
You know what I mean? So outside of that, we're gonna get into our last segment. What is your favorite position in football? Just to be quick, real quick.
My favorite position, I would say running back. That's my, like, give me a ball in a tight hole in space. I'm gonna make it happen. You know, that's the position where I feel as though I could really make something happen. In college, I played slot receiver, so
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm an athlete. I can, make that adjustment, play inside and outside. I mean,
what's your thoughts on the current running back landscape? Like, a lot of people not really looking much into it. Like, it's a replaceable position. Like, what's your thought about the fact that, like, running backs in the NFL really, like, are not, like, some of these guys are, like, the best players in the league at what they do right now. Like,
right.
How do you feel about the fact that, like, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing yards and, like, his team is not looking to pay him? Or Saquon Barkley was the heartbeat of the New York Giants and, like, not getting paid. Like, how do you feel like that's going to impact the running back position going forward?
I feel this is insane. This is insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were younger, what did the coach say?
The running back was the best player on the team.
Not only that, you need running backs to win games.
Mm-hmm.
You need to establish the run to open up the pass.
Mm-hmm.
When the pass is not working,
go back to the run.
Come on now. Like, you just can't.
And these running backs are receivers too. Like,
exactly.
These guys catch the football and go
in space and everything. So it's different ways you can get the running back the ball. You feel what I'm saying? It's not. It doesn't always have to be ISO or
lead, whatever,
inside or outside zone. You feel what I'm saying? So
these guys catch the screens, line up in the slot.
Exactly. So it's just like, for them to even like try to eliminate that, we might as well line up as 7-on-7 football for all that. Like. It just, shout out. I feel for my running backs right now, but,
It's in the work, man. It's in the works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just look at it like, I went to go look at, like, the Rivals 250. I went to go look at, like, the list of the top prospects.
Mm-hmm.
When we was in high school, like, out of the top 10, it'd be, like, 3-4 running backs. The best players in the country aren't even playing running back anymore. Like, literally, like, kids are seeing, because what the NFL isn't realizing is that, like, they're watering down the talent by, like, shunning the running back position.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at the top 25 players in the country, it took until number 20 of the senior class this year to find a 5-star running back. I ain't never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, running backs not becoming extinct, but they're just being looked at like, oh, we could just get a running back by committee. We could just get a bunch of running backs and hope for the best because everybody's talented. No.
Right.
No. Like, like, from playing football my whole life, the difference between a good running back and a great running back. And they're just looking at it like, oh, but it's such a high impact position. They take so much punishment. They're just replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
You know the difference between a him at running back and a good running back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just pains me to see. And I never took a hand off in my life. You feel me?
Yeah.
But, like, I love football so much, and I know how much, like, in the 1960s, all they had was running plays.
Wishbone.
You know what I mean? Like, it was
Power eye.
It was a quarterback. It was one receiver out wide.
Right.
3 tight ends, 4 running backs. Like, just.
Y'all know what we doing. Come stop it.
Nowadays, like, they're just looking like the running backs is, like, don't exist. Like, they're just not a thing.
Yo, protect me. Protect me.
Like, I don't know, man. It just hurts me to see, man, because, like, the running back position is just, like, so integral to what football is. Like,
Right.
Like, I feel like the way that they're trying to just diminish it is almost going to take away from what football is at this point. Like,
Trying to tell you, might as well be 7-on-7.
yeah, like, when we were kids, 300-yard passing games was, like, an exceptional game. That was, like,
Right.
the Patrick Mahomes and the Joe Burrows of the world. Like, they normalized it. Like, all right, 300 yards, like, that's a normal game. Like, if you're throwing for 260, like, you underwhelmed as a quarterback. But
Right.
that's still a lot of passing yards, like, especially, like, playing college football. Like, 300 yards, like, it takes a lot of cooking to get to 300 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
For them to look at it like, oh, yeah, like 300 yards, that's a normal passing game. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
50-something attempts.
Yeah, like,
Come on now.
Like football used to be hard. The running back got his 20, 25 carries. It was 2-3 running backs. Like, you know what I mean? The quarterback threw for like 230, 250. And if he threw for 300, he was snapping.
He was going crazy.
Now you got, like Tom Brady last year, he was attempting 50, 60 passes a game. Like, they wasn't even running the ball. They was throwing checkdowns for everything.
Right.
I don't know, man. I feel like football going in a different direction. I don't even know what it's gonna look like when our kids grow up, man.
That's the scary part.
You know
It's definitely you, and they say it's worse off than this generation. Like imagine the generation after that.
when there's no more running the ball inside.
No more running the ball at all.
Cause I'm just seeing that. Like I'm just visualizing like just 5 receivers. Like, cause the tight ends are turning into receivers. Then like tight ends aren't being required to block no more. Like, you know what I mean?
They're
like,
running wide.
Like these guys is tall and slimmer. They're power forwards, just running routes and pressing triangle on people. You feel me?
Exactly. 5 wide. Yo, get open.
Get open. And this is gonna be like, I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't like it, but like it just kind of scares me because I don't really know what football gonna look like no more. It's gonna be a whole different sport again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is what it is, honestly. Listen, man, I'm very thankful that you was able to come on today. Very thankful that you was able to come on and give these people some game. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing. Make sure you're following the page. Make sure you guys are leaving me some reviews, letting me know how this is going for you. Let me know who you want to see on the podcast next. I'm very, very thankful you guys came on today. I'm Mr. Make It Way, Mr. Make It Happen. Thank you for tapping in, and I'm going to catch you guys next time.
I couldn't tell you in person, so I decided to write a song. I couldn't tell you in person, so I decided to write a song.